Hi everyone, it's Jennifer here from Rambling Renovators. We have just finished our latest renovation, Project Crafts Department. Welcome to our craft room. Let's take a look around. Let's step inside. So this room, when we first moved in a year and a half ago, was an empty shell. It had paint on the walls, but no flooring, no cabinetry, and now we've made it into the ultimate crafting space. When we renovate our rooms, the first thing we think about is function. How do we want a room to work? What kind of function does it have in your home? What kind of furniture pieces need to be in here? What storage needs do you have? What are you storing in this room? So in this particular room, cabinetry was of utmost importance. We were lucky to work with our friends at Home Depot Canada and talk to their kitchen designers to help figure out the most practical and efficient layout and one that helps us store everything we need to in this room. The cabinetry we've used here is from the Thomasville Nouveau line, and it's a Chandler door profile frame. So I stole some ideas that you typically see in kitchens. This particular craft room is in our basement, but I like the two-tone trend that you're seeing in kitchen design. So we went with a dark black base and white upper cabinets to keep this small room that has no windows feeling light and airy. I think it worked really well. You see on this side, we also incorporated bench cabinets. These ones were particularly sized, and this is a really important point. Think about what you want to store. So in these particular cabinets, I've got my fabric hoard. Yes, I've got lots of fabric and wrapping paper. So that had to be sized just enough to fit those rolling paper rolls. That's something you want to think about. What are you storing into these cabinets? We've got a mix of tall towers here, which allow us to store bigger boxes. So things like light bulbs and paint samples that are in big bins. And also a mix of smaller storage. And here's a fun little detail. Here's all my paint chips. And I've lined it with some gingham shelf liner. So that's just a fun little detail. Helps carry the color palette throughout the room and makes your space much more personalized. When you're looking at cabinetry, you want to consider the small details that can help make your cabinets look much more custom, much more high-end. For instance, this particular cabinetry line offered matching end panels. So you'll see here that these panels against the towers match the cabinet fronts. The filler panels also match the cabinetry. Little details like that will give your look much more polish. The other thing is what kind of standard features are included. So this line had soft close drawers as a standard feature, something you probably want if you have young kids. And also the interiors were finished quite nicely in a faux wood finish. So really pretty, even if the doors are open. I've accented these cabinets with brass hardware. I went with a mix of knobs and cup pulls just to make it a bit more interesting. In terms of the countertop, we went with something that is durable. We use a hot glue gun, we do some cutting on here, and this is a Korean countertop in Antarctica, so it's not a pure white, it's got a bit of character to it. It's going to really stand up to everything we're doing here crafting-wise. I also like to mix in some open shelving, so this provides an area for display. It also breaks up the room. I didn't want a whole upper wall of cabinetry. That would feel too heavy in here. So this gives us a chance to personalize the space and display some of the things that make the space ours. So consider that. Two of the walls are also clad in shiplap, and this is from a tree. And I think that really ties in the whole nautical look that we were going for. And it helps make this big wall here. It definitely adds character and makes it a focal point. Let's talk about style. I wanted this room to have a modern, nautical, coastal feel. It's in our basement. I feel like basements, you have the freedom to be a bit more casual and fun and playful, so we went with that kind of look. You'll see the pretty cage sconces here, which feel very nautical. They're from the Home Depot. I believe it's a Seaport line from Titan Lighting, and you can find that on Home Depot. It also matches the flush mount you see here. And you can see how we've carried blue accents, blue coastal accents throughout the room. That helps tie that coastal feeling together and gives it a really nice color scheme. These little oars were a vintage find from a thrift store, and I just mounted them in shadow boxes with some fabric and Velcro. So that was a fun little DIY project. I also like to incorporate something old or vintage or antique into a new room. It helps make the room feel much more lived in and give it some personality. So this is an old harvest table. It used to be painted in a yellow-green color. I repainted it in black by Behr and gave the top a whitewash finish just by mixing some white paint with water and sanding that down and giving it a nice kind of beachy look. So much more polished. Another vintage detail I love is our craft room door. So this door is also from Cabinetry, and it's painted in Blue Moon Bay from Behr, and I've added a little decal that I made myself on my Cricut machine. So I like the glass in this room because there is no natural light, and when you look through the glass it feels like you're looking into an old-fashioned workroom, and I kind of like that. So once you've got all of the function and the layout planned out, you want to think about style. How can you add personality to your room? How can you make it feel much more like yours? So put together a mood board, pull together paint swatches, fabric swatches, things that you love, and it'll all come together. So thank you for joining me on this tour. We are thrilled to have this room in our space and look forward to making many creative messes in here. If you'd like to see the entire renovation journey, you can check out our blog, ramblingRenovators.ca. We also have all the product sources for everything you see in this room, and you can check it out. Thanks again.